Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, everyone, and we will get started. Like usual, Dion, if you have any questions or anyone has questions, please ask away. Okay, so thank you for joining, everyone. Today we're going to talk about women's health and hormones, which is super important for us lovely women that have, so many things going on. I'm super happy to see that the sun is attempting to come out right now. It'll definitely help with the hormones and the emotions if we've got some sunshine. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Lisa English. I have been with doTERRA for almost 3 years. I'm a wellness advocate and loving every minute of it. About 5 years ago, I decided to look at what we were putting on our skins, what we were eating, all these lovely things, because the kids decided they wanted to help and they wanted to be able to clean, and they were at the age where they're putting deodorant on and things like that. So a light bulb kind of went off in my head, and I'm like, well, cleaning is chemicals and that's maybe not a good idea. So it just opened my eyes and I started looking for natural options. I started with the skincare, I started with cleaning supplies, then I moved to skincare, and then I moved to my medicine cabinet, which is where doTERRA came into the mix. In hindsight, I could have started with doTERRA other than the makeup part, but my path, it just happened to be the third phase of that. So what I did was I replaced my medicine cabinet so that my kids could be empowered to tackle their healthcare on their own. And that means, if they have a headache, they go and they get the headache roller. If they have a stomach ache, they go get the stomach roller and things like that. And then it just went into so much more. I started educating others to do the same, and it was a really cool thing. And I'm super happy to be a part of doTERRA. So excuse my screen here because I feel like it's, yes, it went way ahead of me where I'm supposed to be. So it looks like I forgot to switch my slide, but this is our educational team. We generally do a ton of continuing education classes together. They are either my upline or part of my team. And yeah, so I just forgot to switch that slide. So my apologies. Okay, so I know, Dion, you know the basics of this, but let's just quickly talk for anyone jumping in. 3 cool things about essential oils. They're safe, effective, and affordable. 100% natural and safe, no side effects, extracts from plants with amazing health benefits. We are certified pure therapeutic grade essential oils. We are not, you do not want to just go out and buy oils from anywhere. Please, please, please make sure that you are using doTERRA essential oils, and anything that I talk about only talks about doTERRA, because there's a lot of companies out there that you can't take their essential oils internally. So they are super effective. So we're more effective than the modern healthcare approach. And that's because essential oils can permeate the cell. So think of a cell, or if you're looking at this photo, the outside of a cell is an oily membrane. Essential oils are oil. Prescription drugs are water-based. So water cannot permeate oil. So essential oils can actually permeate and get through to tackle the virus that's on the inside of a cell, whereas prescription medication can only deal with bacteria, which is on the outside of a cell. So that's why we're more effective, and we're definitely more affordable, because if you think of a whole day that you've had to take off to go to a doctor's, then you've gone to get a prescription and you've spent $70 to $100 to fix it. We potentially can solve that issue. Let's say it's an ear infection, with 1 drop of lavender, 1 drop of tea tree on your ear. It's pennies per dose. So let's just talk quickly. Peppermint is a great energizing essential oil, relieves tension. On Guard is our immunity blend. We use it for cleaning, anything and everything, immune function, soothing of throats, and lots more. And lavender is our calming blend, and it is also an antihistamine. So for those of you who have allergies issues, lavender is amazing. Okay, 3 cool ways: aromatic, topical, and internal. So most of you probably already know these ways. Aromatic really helps positively affect your mood. It cleanses the air and supports your respiratory system. Topically, it's great to have everything in rollers. We have a roller for everything in our house, and it already has fractionated coconut oil to make it quick and easy for the regular oils that we like to use daily, as well as for any of our medicine cabinet oils. Internal, whether it's in water, in a veggie capsule, or taken under your tongue. Okay, let's get started talking about our lovely hormones. So estrogen, phytoestrogen, xenoestrogens, cortisol, liver health. Hormones play an important role in our bodies. They affect all functions of the body. They regulate our temperatures, fertility, mood, sleep, and so much more. Oh my goodness, my screen is not working here. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna have to grab my mouse. Hold on. It's taken me 10 hours to flip slides here. Let's see. Okay. Nope, my screen is still frozen. So bear with me here, guys. Let's try this again. The internet is just maybe not cooperating today. It's letting me move slides, so let's just see. Okay, well, we'll just go with that. So, like I said, hormones play an important role in our bodies. They regulate temperature, fertility, mood, sleep, and so much more. These are all the hormones that we are going to talk about today, so that we have a little bit of an understanding of how and why our hormones affect our bodies so much. So I want you to look at this slide on a scale of 1 to 10. You guys can comment in the comment screen if you like. I'm not sure if I'll see it come up on my page, or you can just speak out loud. That's totally fine. Comment, how is your monthly cycle? Or if you're in peri or postmenopause, how are your symptoms of dealing with that? Are you having lots of issues? So 1 being you're fine, and 10 being things are definitely out of control. Okay, so consider this as your journey. This is something that you definitely want to write down. Even if you're not going to say it out loud, I'd like you to make a note of where you think your hormones are. Are you eating well? Are you hydrating? Do you exercise? I know I talk about this all the time, but everything starts with your nutrition and all of these things. And when your nutrition and your exercise and your sleep and your toxic load and all those things are out of whack, guess what the first thing is that gets affected by this? It's your hormone balance. Okay, so do you have issues with hypo or hyperthyroidism? Do you have mood swings, poor memory, adrenal fatigue, trouble sleeping, type 2 diabetes, infertility, difficulty losing weight? These issues are super common in women. I would say more so from probably 35 and up. I wouldn't say as a whole. Some people don't have issues until they're older, but you never know. I would say with me, I started to definitely see changes once I hit 35, and then it kind of, I don't want to say went downhill from there, but it definitely changed. What about you, Dion?
I'd say I don't know, into my 40s probably.
Yeah, I would say that's probably the most common for sure. I think for me, it was more when I hit 35, I realized I definitely had to work harder for my body. Like, I've always been active, I've always been athletic, I've always worked out, but I had to push harder definitely once I started to hit 35, which that sucked. Okay, so the female reproductive system, we all know the basics, right? So your ovaries, your fallopian tubes, uterus, cervix, all these lovely things are classified as our reproductive system. The ovaries secrete estrogen and progesterone, which are crucial for fertility, but also play a key role in women's emotional and physical health. So just imagine the poor women that have had to have their ovaries removed, how impactful that was on their emotional and physical health. Nutrition, hydration, these play a direct role and impact the production of your hormones. So if you are not eating properly, if you are not hydrating, your hormones are going to be effective. I know you're going to laugh at this, Dion, because I do talk about this a lot, but it really is foundational nutrition for optimal hormone balance and energy levels, but everything else, pain. Every class I teach, the foundation is really in your eating, your supplements, your exercise. You have to be doing all those things. So lifelong vitality is equivalent to 12 fruits and veggies. It's made from whole food sources. Sorry, I haven't even flipped your page there. My apologies. It's key for optimal wellness. It has a high absorption rate, so you're actually benefiting from the supplements that are there. When before I went on to the LLV, I was having issues with my eye, and it took 8 different natural products for me to try before something worked. And it was doTERRA's that actually worked. But I think the biggest issue was my body was not absorbing the supplements that I was taking. So it couldn't actually do what it was supposed to do. So alpha CRS gives us a liver detox. And so when we are having hormonal imbalance, your liver plays a huge role in your hormones. So it's super important that your that your liver is where it needs to be. So this next product here, this product is something that I started taking in my 40s. I'm dairy intolerant, so I probably should have started taking it sooner, but I really wasn't, I wasn't on the path of supplements. Like that wasn't part of, I took Juice Plus and I thought that was enough, but realizing, later on that I was missing some nutrients in my body. So bone nutrient, it is bioavailable nutrition for men and women necessary for bone integrity, strength, and overall health. It's important for those with weak and fragile bones and growing individuals to make sure that you are taking this supplement. You really don't want to wait until you're 50 or 60 to start taking bone nutrition. I know doctors talk quite often about, as you're getting into your 50s, you need a strong skeletal system from day one. So taking bone nutrients gives you the magnesium, the vitamin D that you need, especially with what we're dealing with right now. Vitamin D is so, so important. So let's look at this. So estrogen directly affects growth development. Okay, estrogen is binds to a receptor to send a message to a cell. Xenoestrogen binding to estrogen receptor and sending unintended signals. So basically what this is showing is xenoestrogen affects the good estrogen. So remember, xenoestrogen is bad. It's foreign. It's usually synthetic. It is the bad estrogen that we absolutely do not want in our body. So the synthetic gets ahead of the good when it's around, and it takes over your good estrogen and messes up your hormones. So super common if you are using products with chemicals that this is in your body. It basically clogs up everything. So when we talk toxic load, so think of the pyramid, Dion, that I talk about all the time that shows eating, exercising, sleep, toxic load. Toxic load affects so much by having, processed foods. I'll go through a list in here in a couple slides, but it's putting chemicals into our body, which is giving us the xenoestrogen, and it's killing off our good estrogen. So by just eliminating some toxins in your life, your hormones can improve so much. So these are where you can find xenoestrogen. So if you have any of these products in your house, this is where you want to start. I know we talk a lot about removing toxins in our personal care products and in our cleaners. That is a good way to start. But just look at simple things like canned food. There's xenoestrogens found in canned food. So if you are a person that maybe uses canned corn, swap to frozen corn. That's an easy switch where you're eliminating canned items. I do not use canned items very often. I do it for fish. So I do my tuna and stuff in a can. And I love, love, love canned beans, like brown beans. Outside of that, I try to buy everything in glass. If you're thinking pasta sauces and things like that, we buy it in glass. Tap water. We have a crazy filtration system on our house. We have, I don't remember what it's called. It's like a red light or something like that basically kills everything.
UV.
Soy in your food. Sorry, what did you say?
It's an ultraviolet light.
Yes, ultraviolet light. That's the one. So we have that on our system. So we're trying desperately, right, to eliminate as many toxins as we can. Plastics. Think of a common plastic item that most houses have. Think of your shower. Do you have a shower curtain?
In the
Leon?
kids' bathroom.
And what's the
Yeah.
shower curtain? Is it plastic or material?
Yeah, well, I have both, but the liner would be plastic.
Yeah, so that's another easy swap. You can buy material shower curtains, and then you're eliminating the chemicals that the kids are stepping in and things like that. Like think of these little easy swaps. I mean, we've talked about household cleaners. You're already on the path. We're getting you in that direction. Fragrance. If you see the word fragrance on any of your products, run away, because it's a chemical, and that has caused me so many issues. Oh my gosh, in my life, I thought I was allergic to scents, but it's not the scent I'm allergic to. It's the fragrance. So it's the fake fragrance that I'm actually allergic to. My mother was super worried when I jumped into oils, because she's like, you are allergic to scents. I'm like, yeah, but I think it's chemicals. My mom's
Yeah.
like, you're allergic to strawberries. I'm like, no, I'm actually not allergic to strawberries. I'm allergic to the chemical on the strawberries. So once I started buying organic strawberries, I had no issues. So simple things, right? Beauty care, personal care products, medications, anywhere where you can eliminate, even if it's only one thing on here that you can make a change, you're making a change for the better. So you're basically saving some estrogen in your body by making that small change.
I gotta jump in here. What is
Yeah.
it in the canned foods that has the xenoestrogens?
I'm
Is it from the
assuming,
can or
yes, it'll be from the can. Yeah. So
so I
they
know
even say, make sure when you have canned items that you don't keep the can in the fridge, because
sorry.
I've heard very often that if you use canned food, one thing you want to stay away from, because it makes it worse, is that if you put your canned item in the fridge.
Like after you open it, don't store it in
Yeah.
there.
Don't
Yeah.
store it in there. Dump it into your glassware or whatever.
Yeah.
Simple swaps. Do you have Tupperware? Swap to glass. It's an easy, easy swap. I know it's hard when the kids were taking things to school, but now that both of you and I now will be fully out of that by next year. So those are things that we can make changes. I mean, tap water, you can't control the water at like where you live in town, but you can add a filtration system on it, right?
Mhm.
With hopes that you're catching something. Pesticides, we can't necessarily control what's around us, but try to grab organic a couple times. I saw this study. Oh my gosh, I read this article after the study, and this family decided to remove all the pesticides. So they went fully organic. They tested their blood before they did it, and they tested their blood and everything after. The results that came back was crazy, just by them changing to organic. So the amount of pesticides that are in our food are
Mhm.
crazy, crazy,
Mhm.
crazy. It's the same when you buy fish. You don't want farmed fish. You want fresh, what is it called? Fresh not seawater, but you know what I mean? Freshwater fish.
Yeah.
Just because it's naturally grown, right? So all these things, we can make simple changes and change. Just one item in there could be thousands and thousands of estrogens that are saved over the year.
Mhm.
I know it's crazy to look at that way, but it is. So clean it up. I know we talk about this a lot. but doTERRA has almost every option out there for you. And if you want to do it differently, I make everything. You know that there is a replacement for everything. We just have to find the recipe and figure out how to make it. You can't necessarily make canned tuna, but okay, so these are recommended products. So phytoestrogen is a natural form of estrogen-like therapy. So it's not actually estrogen, but what it does is it assists to balance not only the deficiency of estrogen, but also any excess of harmful estrogen. So this phytoestrogen complex helps basically kill off the bad xenoestrogen. Okay, and if you're lacking in estrogen, maybe because of the bad xenoestrogen, this is going to help replace it. So minimizes unwanted symptoms associated with your cycle, contains genistein, I think I say that right. It's a fermented soy extract that promotes healthy breast tissue and brings balance to hormones in both men and women. It is not for fermented soy. So I am sensitive. Of course, my husband is calling me right now. 1 second. Oh, hold on, Dina. Dion. Jeff, I'm on my call. Don't pick her up. Sorry, guys. He's like, do I need to pick something up? Yes, so I am sensitive to soy. This is not the same soy. So there's non-GMO. It's not the bad soy that's added to everything out there. It balances out your estrogen. So it's a really cool product. It's another one I've started taking probably in the last year, and I'm really noticing a difference. I'm usually really bad. I never used to be, but the week before my period, I'm an emotional, I wouldn't even say I'm an emotional mess, but if someone, I'm going to say it, if someone pisses me off, I will eat them alive. Like I am just like an attack, whereas I never used to be like that. So since I've started taking this, I'm not as crazy the week before. So rose essential oil is our queen of oils. We all know the king of oils being frankincense. You can apply this over your heart, really helps with emotional balance, boosts libido, promotes openness and confidence. If you apply it to your lower abdomen, it helps with your discomfort during your period, and it promotes regular ovulation. So amazing.
The rose one?
This, yes, pretty crazy. Oh, sorry. I didn't hit the page.
Okay.
My apologies. My tablet doesn't show my notes, so I have to have my other computer open. And because my other computer, the webcam is dead, so it's like you can't win. So I have to run 2 computers. So sometimes I forget to switch the other slide. So yeah, rose essential oil is great for anything and everything emotional balance, but it does help in other areas as well. So really good oil to have. We all know Clary Calm. I know you and I have talked about this recently. Anyways, you can probably make your own version now of Clary Calm because you have Clary Sage. So open up Clary Calm on the site one day and see what's in it. And then we can make your own little roller with it if you didn't end up
It should be in my mailbox right now.
Oh, perfect. Well, there you go. So now you have the roller. So make it into 2. It actually comes pure. So dump half of it into another roller and then fill them both with fractionated coconut oil. Because I'm pretty sure, you'll have to read it, but I'm almost positive it's pure, which makes no sense to me, but really good for hormone balancing, heavy periods, PMS, cramps, hot flashes, mood swings, all of the above. I have bought this from day one. I use it every month. I probably only use it for, 1 or 2 days, and then I'm good to go, which is pretty cool. Although if I set my reminder and I make sure to do it the week before, I would probably benefit a lot more the week before. I tend to take adaptive the week before, and that usually levels me out as well, same as the phytoestrogen. Okay, so our endocrine system. So the endocrine system directly involved in your growth, your development, metabolism, nutrient regulation, and overall homeostasis. Glands that produce and send hormones to targeted organs and tissues via the circulatory system. So essential oils can be very beneficial since they are circulated in the same way and profoundly benefits the cells that encounter in the process. So care for your liver. Your liver, your pancreas, your adrenals, and your thyroid are super important when it comes down to hormones, okay, which that's your whole endocrine system. So if you think, Dion, you've heard of the endocrine supplement, it kind of covers, all these areas. So healthy liver function is huge for hormone balance. So drink plenty of water, lemon, or you can add Slim and Sassy essential oil. Take 1 Zendocrine soft gel daily. This will help detox your liver. So when I tried the Itovi scanner, this was one of the items that came up, was endocrine. So I'm like, oh, maybe my liver needs a little detox. So take 1 to 3 Slim and Sassy soft gels daily to support your metabolism. It regulates your blood sugar and releases excess water. So adrenal glands, when women have hormone imbalance, their thyroids and their adrenal glands are quite often affected, and quite often doctors cannot figure out the issues, why you're having this issue or this issue. And most often it comes down to hormones. There's this really good book. I lent it out. I will tell you what it is when I get it back, or I'll Google it when we're done because I can't think of the name of it because it's not here. But she is a wellness advocate. Her name is Dr. Marisa. And she wrote a book and her biggest issues were hormone balance in her body. And she was prescribed drugs after drugs and nothing worked and just messed up more things. And she has come up with some fabulous combinations, not just oils, but just ways of living that have improved her life enormously. And she educates others on the same. So she's a doctor, so she sees women all the time. And almost always their issues come down to these 4 things. So once she figures out these 4 things, they're usually fine. So care for your adrenals. Apply Magnolia to adrenal twice a day. Didn't your Itovi scan come up with Magnolia? Was it you?
I think it might have been
One
Ezra.
of you. Yeah. So Magnolia is really good. So maybe her adrenals are a little out of whack. Take 2 capsules of Mitomax twice daily as needed.
What
Mitomax is sorry, go ahead.
what do your adrenals do?
So your adrenals, let me get you a really good description here. 1 second.
This is like so long ago.
I know, exactly. So it's a small gland that makes steroid hormones, adrenaline and noradrenaline. These hormones help control your heart rate, your blood pressure, and other important body functions. So there are 2 adrenal glands. One is on top of your kidney and also called the suprarenal gland. So yeah, so it does everything, controls your heart rate, blood pressure, all your body functions of your endocrine system. It's so, so, so important. So they say, like, when, what's the word? When your adrenal glands are a mess, it's always like your hormones are what are drastically affected. And quite often when people have hormone issues, they're very fatigued, they're tired all the time. And that part right there is specifically the adrenal glands. They're working too much or they're not working enough. So Mitomax is our energy supplement. So if you are a person that needs the coffee in the morning or needs the coffee in the afternoon, it's a really good one to take as a supplement instead. So if you do need something in the afternoon because your adrenals are low and you're exhausted, this is super helpful. So thyroid, it's not a life sentence. I know people think it is. Habits are critical to having your thyroid work properly. Every woman in my family this is the funny thing right here, who has had a daughter who has given birth to a girl has problems with their thyroid. Isn't that funny?
Mm-hmm.
All on my mom's side. So all the ones that had just boys were fine. The ones that had girls have thyroid issues. So of course, it's hard for me to talk to my mom and get her out of that routine, right? There's so many options she could try, but she's just not willing. She's part, that generation is really hard to change. So it's too bad, but her thyroid for years has been a mess. It goes up, it goes down. It's just a disaster. So nutrition could be part of it, stress, genetics, right? Who knows what that gene is that from having a girl has caused them potentially. It could be just coincidence too, but either way, they think it is. So clove, myrrh, frankincense, lemongrass, these are oils that are helpful for our thyroid. So if you have a thyroid issue, it's a great idea to look at this and to do these routines daily. So I just went through this. Our endocrine system is directly involved with everything that you need to be a woman, basically. So it's super important to have it in check. So this is just going into more detail. If we want to tackle our liver, these are the oils and supplements we should be looking at. It's endocrine, Slim and Sassy, and lemon. For your pancreas, we've got our Slim and Sassy soft gels. And this basically has everything to support your metabolism, regulate your blood sugar, and release excess water. A lot of women on their periods tend to have a ton of excess water. Think of bloating. If you are the type of person that each month you have the crazy stomach bloat just by being on your period, that helps you release that water. So again, Mitomax and our magnolia. I love the smell of magnolia. If you haven't smelt it, you need to. Oops, went too far. And this is our thyroid blend. So I haven't had issues with my thyroid as of yet, but I think part of that is because I take most of these oils every day anyways. So DDR Prime has, if not all of them, most of these oils, and I take that daily. I take frankincense daily. My vitamins have, I think, all of these oils as well to some extent. So I haven't had the issue. I'm the only one in the family that has not had thyroid issues. So I always keep an eye on it. Every time I do go for a physical, I make sure to get my blood work just to see where your levels are. It's a really good idea to understand your blood work and know what you should be testing for. I'm pretty sure in the book, Dr. Marise's book, it gives you suggestions on what types, like what you should be looking for in your blood work. So when you go for a physical, your doctor only does the basics of blood work. There are other things that you need to get tested to make sure that you're healthy. So find out and know what they are because your doctor doesn't do it.
So where do you get it done if the doctor doesn't do it?
No, they do it, but they won't automatically check it off. So depending on your doctor, if you know what you need to test on your thing, I'll bring up the list. I'm pretty sure it's in her book, but I'm sure I can find it. There's so many other check boxes they should be checking off to find answers. If you have a good doctor that's cooperative, they'll probably do it with no added cost. Some people might make you, they might charge you for it, but it's worth knowing. It's worth knowing to see where your levels are, especially if you're deciding to make a difference and to make some changes in your life, right? If you're going to start eating better, if you're using oils and you're using oils specifically to help with certain issues, it's really good to see and understand where your levels should be. Or when you're feeling good, it's good to see where your levels are so that you know your optimal health is when your iron is this level, when, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's interesting to have those results. I'll try to find it for you and send it to you. Europalm is fairly new to doTERRA. It is amazing. If you have not tried this, the Europalm supplements are basically a beauty blend, but they have vitamin C in them. So we've been using them as an extra vitamin C in our house during these crazy times. The body oil is awesome. Really good skin renewal, trouble spots. And then the dropper bottle is the Nutritive Duo. So I put that on my skin regularly. So I have been doing that probably for the last few months, and I've really noticed a difference. The last couple years, I've really struggled with eczema, and I know it's part of it definitely has to do with what I eat because I'm sensitive to dairy. So I always give in at some point to dairy or whatever. So then I suffer. but I was really struggling on my forehead, and I've pinpointed it down to a couple products that I use regularly, and in winter, it just makes it worse. So my forehead has gotten quite wrinkly just because it was such a disaster with eczema. There was no chance for it to get through that. I've seen a huge difference by adding the Yarrow Palm in my collagen. So it basically helps your collagen, which is pretty cool. So small changes. Okay, so next on here, we always like to give you guys sample boxes. So if you ever are thinking, okay, these are some of the things that I would like to introduce into my life, or at some point, slowly purchase them, these are good options. The Bone Nutrient, Phytoestrogen, Rose, and Clary Calm. This is the American price, only because we cannot get the Bone Nutrient and Phytoestrogen in Canada as of yet. It takes so long for us to get products over here because just the paperwork with Canada is pretty crazy, which, you know what, is a good thing. They want to make sure that everything that is coming over is fairly clean, right? Which is kind of funny considering what products are at the grocery store and at a pharmacy and things like that. But for certain stuff, they've got lots of guidelines. So that is it. Do you have any questions? I know it's a lot of info. If there's anything that resonates with you, hormone issues and that, I really recommend you read this book. My friend said she's almost done, so I can definitely pass it on to you. Let me unshare my screen here, and then you can see my lovely face. Hi.
Good.
It's a really good book. She has recipes. She has great suggestions. I've marked a ton of pages of things that resonate with me and that could be beneficial. I've made a bunch of the hormone rollers and things like that. Daily routine, like everything. If you have issues with these things, getting into a routine makes such a difference. Such a difference. So hopefully something registered with you or helped you out or gave you a suggestion.
Yep.
But yeah, if you want any recipes, let me know. I will definitely get you that book if you want to read it. And I will look for the list to get tested for your blood work because it's very interesting. I met a guy at a gym once. It's an older guy, like he's my parents' age. We know their family through my brother's friends growing up, and we were always at the gym together, and somehow we got on that conversation that day. I said, really? So he's like, yeah. He's like, I was not healthy until I started getting him to check off these different areas and testing for different things because his was so generic that it wasn't catching the issue. So kind of interesting, right?
Yep.
You have to be empowered on your own for your own health because no one's going to do it for us, right?
Yeah.
So what are you guys up to today?
Not sure yet.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to hit stop in a second. So thank you guys for joining. I'm just hitting stop recording. We can still talk. If you guys have any questions, please just comment below and I will help you out.